Hello.
Yeah, hi Neeraj.
Hi, Gaurav. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry for being late. Uh, just settling down a few things before starting of the class.
Okay.
Anyhow, any other person has joined?
Yeah, I think four candidates have joined now. I'm expecting one or more to join. Okay, I think let's get started and they will join in between then.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So in the last session, we had discussed about various uh, overview sessions, like we understood what are the capabilities of SAP HANA and how this SAP HANA capabilities have been used to create a product called as SAP Simple Finance. And again, we have discussed one of the functionality called as Universal Journal Document, in which we say that instead of saving the data in different tables, in different index tables, totals tables, all the data uh, in Simple Finance, all the line items data will be stored in a single table, which will help in fostering the performance of the database, because you don't need to write complex queries which is asking data from different sources. So a single table will be available to you, you uh, and you can use this table to generate various reports. So although we have discussed this topic, but again this was very on the high level. So what we are going to do today is we are going to understand this universal journal document in the detailed way. So what is expected in this and what is not expected in universal journal, what are the fields which will be available in this table, we are going to discuss about that today. So before I start, is there any query related to the last session, or maybe uh, any query till now? Any confusion? Okay, let's start. So if you have any queries, you can ask in between. Okay, so before we go to the universal journal, first of all, let's understand what is in-memory capability. So we already know that SAP HANA is the technology which uses in-memory capability. It has the in-memory capabilities. So what does it mean? So I think most of you are aware that there are two mediums of data storage. Even in your laptop, in your computer, there are two mediums. So one is the main memory and other is a hard disk. When I'm saying main memory, it is when we talk about our laptops, it is the RAM. Okay, so the uh, the data access, whenever you want to access the data from the main memory, it is obviously faster than the data which is stored in the hard disk. So what our system does is it whatever applications we are using, it brings them into the RAM, and rest of the applications which are not required at any particular time, they are stored in my hard disk. So why I'm bringing all this data to RAM? Because I'm processing that data. So I need the faster speed for that application. So for example, if you are using any software which is installed in your laptop, normally it is in your hard disk. But when you start this application, it comes into your RAM, and you can do the transactions which will become faster. Similarly, in SAP also, till now, the same concept was used, that the data was mainly stored in the secondary storages called as the hard disk, and whatever data we are processing, like if we are processing a particular transaction, this transaction has to be was performed in the main memory. Okay, so we all know that main memory is the fastest storage medium. So if you compare the main memory with your hard disk, it is 100 1,000 times faster to access the data from main memory rather than hard disk. Now all this traditional database, so even if we talk about today, like whatever uh, SAP EHP7 we are using in whichever database, for example, if you are using SQL Server, if you are using Oracle, so what they do is in these applications, all the data is stored in the hard disk, and only the data which you are processing at any point of time is bring into the main memory to access it faster. But within HANA, so if we talk about simple finance, which is using the capability of SAP HANA, SAP HANA database use main memory to store frequently required data tables also. So what is happened now is that not only the applications you are running currently, but this data which you need on day-to-day basis, you can directly store that data into your main memory. So for example, normally you need the data of 1 year, right, on the day-to-day basis, while the data which is older than 1 year you don't need on day-to-day basis. So what you can do is you can store this data into the hard disk, and the data of last 1 year, which uh, it will be available in your main memory. So what it will do is whenever you perform any reporting on the data which is not very old, which is older less than 1 year, that is available on you onto your main memory. And this functionality or this capability was not available in the old traditional databases. So any query here? What is main memory? How this in-memory functionality is used in SAP HANA database, and how it will improve the the data access from the system? Okay, so all of you are clear. So whenever I'm saying this HANA is a in-memory capability database, so have you understood now what is in-memory and how it will help us in accessing the data faster? Okay, let's go ahead then.
Yeah, yeah, Gaurav.
Yeah, thank you. So now let's talk about redundancy. So same thing. Redundancy is storing the same type of data again and again. So for example, today in my traditional database or in my traditional ERP, what happens is I have two tables. One is for header, BKPF, and other is for line items, BSEG. I'm just talking about financial accounting. So BKPF and BSEG are my two tables. So whenever any transaction is updated in financials, it gets updated in BKPF and BSEG. Okay. So if I already have two tables, why I need the index tables and total tables? For example, if I already have BSEG, I can add one column there whether this document is cleared or it is still uncleared. Okay. Similar to that, I can add various fields which are required, which are available in BSID, which are available in totals. Why I'm not adding these fields in BSEG directly? The reason is this BSEG table, as you know, normally if you are aware of, if you have worked on FS functional specifications, or maybe you are involved in reporting or creating a report, a customized report, we are told that don't touch BSEG table. The reason is BSEG table is updated every now and then, and if you are writing any query which is taking the data from BSEG table, this is supposed to be a very slow table. The reason is that there is only one table which is getting updated again and again, then there are millions and trillions of records which are available in this table. So again, for uh, entering the columns of open and cleared, again if you are adding the columns into these tables and doing your reporting directly on BSEG, it was like it was a huge challenge. So that is the reason why SAP has come up with the different index tables. So whenever you enter any transaction, it is not only updated in BSEG, but it is updated in, for example, BSIS also. And whenever you clear this, it gets removed from BSIS and it is updated in BSAS. So the reason was that if you want to do the reporting on open item, cleared item, or whatever reporting you want to do, instead of touching the BSEC table directly, you can route through BSIS, BSAS, BSIK, BSAK. This was the whole purpose. At the same time, if you want to generate the totals, like if you want to have the balances of a particular account, so again, if you write the query directly on BSAFE, again the performance, there are the problem with the performance issues. So that is the reason why they came up with the totals table. So FAGL Flex T. The logic behind it was that if you want to perform uh, any reporting based on the totals, you can directly refer to this table rather than going to BSEC table directly. So in my traditional database, this was the reason why I was creating different tables for different purpose. Okay, because the performance was the issue. Whenever I was doing any reporting directly on BSEC, it was the reports were running very slower. At the same time, the transactions were also hampered because I'm doing some reporting on that table directly. So that is the reason why these different tables were created for different purpose. Similarly, if I'm using different components, like I have given you example of financial accounting, at the same time I'm using controlling, I'm using material ledger, I'm using asset accounting, I'm using profitability analysis. So again, if I store this data all including in one table, again it will create the performance issues. So that was the reason why all these different components have their own separate tables. So if you want to perform any reporting, let's say on profitability analysis, so you don't need to worry about what is stored in BSEC. You can directly go to the uh, table which is related to profitability analysis. So now in SAP Simple Finance, because the improvement has been directly into the database, so it is not that difficult to access the common table directly. Just a minute, let me please mute yourself, unmuted. Okay, let me try. Okay. Okay. Now, so this was a challenge in my traditional ERP. So I was storing different data because uh, the system was not supporting that I create a one table and do all my reporting in a single table. But with the capabilities of SAP HANA, what I can do is I can keep all this data in the main memory, using which I can store all this data in a single table, and that too, that single table is available for reporting also. So I can generate all my reports directly from the single table. Okay, so that is the reason why now if I'm doing all my reporting on the single table, there is no need for all this index and total tables. So BSIS, BSAS, BSIK, BSAK, BSID, BSAD, these are all my index tables. Similarly, GL, BSAS, GL, BSIS, these are also my index tables. So I don't need these tables now. So what now we have done is these tables have been removed and they have been created as the compatible views. Now what are these compatible views? As I told you that because you have already created some of the reports which are taking the data from BSIS. So if I remove this total, if I remove this table in at all, what will happen is my old reports will suffer. And that is the reason why I'm not deleting these tables completely. I'm just deleting that structure of the table and I'm keeping them as the compatible views. So as such, they will not store any data within themselves, but the data can be bought into these views on the fly. On the fly means whenever you perform any query, it will take the data from AC doc A, which is my universal journal, and it will provide me the data as it was providing me earlier. Okay, so that is exactly what we have written here in the fourth statement. From the accounting document and line item as a single source of truth, any derived data. This derived data is the data which I'm talking about, BSIS, open items, cleared items. This will be generated on the fly. So you don't need to store all this data into separate tables. This includes not only the index tables, it includes all the totals tables also. So if you have FAGL flex T removed, what will happen? So the totals can also be performed, the totals can also be calculated on the fly. So I think this is a list of tables which were removed and they are created as the uh, HANA compatibility, HANA views. So BSIS, BSAS, as I told you, BSIK, BSAK, FAGL, BSIS, FAGL, BSAF. These are all index tables. Similarly, these are all my totals tables which are removed. So GLT0, which was used like FAGL FlexT in the classical version of GL accounting, KNC1, which stores the transaction figures of the customer. For example, whatever transactions I will do, the transaction lines and the transaction totals are stored in these tables, KNC1, LFC1 for vendor transactions, and KNC3 and LFC3, these are used for special GL transactions. So when you run the report, for example, FK10N, the vendor balances, so all this data, all the information that you see, it comes from these tables, KNC1 and KNC3. LFC1 and LFC3. Similarly, when you perform FD10N, which is my report for customer balances, it comes from KNC1 and KNC3. So now these tables have been removed and they have been created as the HANA views. So whatever reports, whatever standard reports also, if you have standard reports like as I told you, uh, FK10N, it will work as it is because they have been created as the compatibility views. Okay. Apart from this index and totals tables, this is the list of tables which have been removed from different submodules as such. So from controlling point of view, COEP, COBK, these tables have been removed. Similarly, from asset side, ANAP, ANEA, ANLP, these tables either removed, I'm not saying they are removed completely. Some of the tables have been reduced. Reduced means the layers data is stored in these tables while the most important data is directly stored in AC doc A. Okay, and from material ledgers point of view, if you can see all these last 5 tables, this have been merged into the AC doc A now. Any question, any confusion till now? No question? At least confirm me if you have understood or not, because at least are you able to hear me?
Yes, Gaurav.
Okay, so no questions as of now?
No questions. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So coming to the slide, which I think we have discussed in our demo session also. So this is the structure before Universal Journal, means before Simple Finance. So in my traditional ERP, in my EHP 7, what happens is I have this separate components. So material ledger, asset accounting, controlling, and what is here? COPA. So what happens now is I have separate set of tables for material. What I are reconciled with GL. Okay. So I have to waste a lot of time to make sure that all these balances are reconciled. And many the times we face a situation in which these balances are not reconciled and we have to do the tedious exercise to come up with the solution, like how exactly these balances are not matching, what is the difference, what is the entry missing in either material ledgers or general ledger, what exactly is the mismatch. So this is the problem that we are facing now. Okay, because these modules are separate till now. They are storing all their data in different tables. Going forward, the structure will become like this. So whatever data is stored in your GL accounting, COPA, controlling, asset accounting, material ledger, all this data, all the important data will be updated in a single table, universal journal, which means that you don't need to do the reconciliation. You don't need to go to different tables for reconciliation. In AC docket itself, you'll find that all the data is coming into the single table. So there is no need for reconciliation because all the data is available in a single table. Okay, so if you are performing any asset accounting transaction, it will automatically gets updated in the universal journal. If you are performing a transaction which is only relevant to material ledger, again that will come to the universal journal. So irrespective whether you are, for example, if you are doing any CO transaction, which is secondary transaction, right? What happens is there is whenever you do any transactions in controlling, for example, you have some transactions which are coming from FI, which are flowing from FI, and you have some transactions which you post directly into CO. So in this case, what will happen is whatever transactions are coming from FI, that will be also updated in AC Doc A, and whatever transactions you are doing directly in CO, that is also updated in AC Doc A. So irrespective of you are doing your transaction from the directly uh, into the particular module or it is flowing from some other module, automatically it will get adjusted and it will be shown as a single entry in AC Doc A. Yeah, Neeraj, I think you got disconnected. I was just explaining that uh, earlier this all sub-modules were different. COPA was different, CO was different, asset of tables. So now what will happen is whatever data, whatever is important data maintained in all these tables, it will also get updated in AC Doc A table also. So you, if you want to reconcile the things, you don't need to go into all these different tables. Rather, you can just see the AC Doc A, and if the data is coming in AC Doc A, this means that all these tables are or all these components are on the reconciliation exercise. Okay, so if you just have the look
Gaurav,
at universal, yes,
Gaurav, all these tables would now be in form of views.
sorry,
So all these tables will now be in form of views, right?
Neeraj, can you just repeat your question?
So all now tables relating to your COPA, CO, asset accounting, etc., they'll
Mm-hmm.
become views, right? Because the main
See,
data is stored in Universal Journal.
yes, but again, not all the tables. There are some tables which are still restored. For example, we are not telling that BSEG will be removed. BSEG will remain as it is. Okay.
Hmm.
So even though, for example, if I'm saying everything will be stored in AC Doc A, then why I need BSEG table,
Hmm.
right? Because BSEG is the table which is bringing the data to AC Doc A. So whenever you removed, only the tables which are related to indexing. In case of material ledger, I have shown you the list of tables. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, Neeraj, I think my voice got broken.
Right.
Yeah,
So Gaurav, we couldn't hear what you said earlier.
from material ledger's perspective. Similarly, the list of tables which will be deleted from CO perspective. But it is not like all the tables will be removed. There are some tables which will be removed. Clear, Neeraj?
Gaurav, I think you have broken up, Gaurav. We couldn't hear, or at least I couldn't hear what you said last time. You keep
Uh,
breaking up. I think
Yeah,
there's
it's
some
okay.
issue
Your
with
voice is
your
actually
line.
breaking in
yeah. So are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm saying that not all the tables will be removed. There are some tables in which there is redundancy of data. They will get removed. Not all the tables which exist in current ERP will be removed. Some of the tables, I think I have provided the list of that tables in my last screen. So these are the tables. For example, if I talk about
Y- Yeah, you're broken up again. I'm not sure if it's just
tables
me.
which will be removed.
Gaurav, I think you're broken up. I think you keep breaking up. Do you want to, maybe you may have to log in again because it's
Okay,
keep, I can't hear you anything. I mean, I can't hear you. I don't know if
okay,
it's the case with others as well.
okay. Let me just log in and
between. Yeah, it's the same for us also. Like
okay.
you constantly break down with your voice.
Hello.
Yes, Gaurav, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was
Yeah,
saying is, yeah, I was just trying to answer Neeraj's question. He's saying that all these tables will be removed and will be created as the HANA views or not. The answer is no. Uh, Not all the tables will be removed, but there are some of the tables which holds the redundant data. So for example, as I told you, BSEG is not removed, but BSI is removed because most of the query the BSEG table we have created BSIS and BSAS. Similarly, FAGL Flex T. So all these tables which are storing the repetition of data, they will be removed. So here if you can see the list in the current screen, ANAP and ANEA if you can see, or maybe ANLP. So what is this ANLP? It is storing the periodic values because I can generate these values on the fly. Okay, system will automatically calculate and tell me, okay, these are the periodic values. So that is the reason why I don't need these tables. But there are still some tables like BSEG, the COEP, storing the data only once. They are not replicating the data to some other tables also. So in short, not all the storing the redundant data, they will be removed. Have I answered your question, Neeraj?
Yes, thank you very much.
Neeraj, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so is your question answered?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, Neeraj. The header information will get stored in BKPF itself, and the line information, although it is route through BSEC, but everything will be stored in AC.K. And this is not only with the this is not only with relevant to the financial accounting, even controlling transactions, even asset accounting transactions, everything will be like this. Line item table, which will be AC.K. I'll show you the screen of SAP, like how this AC docket tables looks like, what are the fields which are available in AC docket tables. So this AC docket table, because it is containing the data of all different tables, there will be the huge number of columns in this report. So even if in this screenshot you can see that this table this 369 depends, because this table will get the columns based on what settings you have configured. For example, if you have configured account-based COPA with lot of characteristics, that all characteristics will come here. Similarly, if you in your Nigel accounting, you have created some custom fields, okay, customer fields, that also will be reflected in this AC docket table. So this number of columns in this AC docket tables depends upon the functionalities that you have activated in your system. Okay, will not only store the data of general ledger accounting, it will store the data of all different subcomponents within financial accounting. So this is just the so what happens is you have a I'm referring to the uh, picture which is before implementing Simple Finance. So in my financial documents, I need to create the documents in FI and CO separately. Similarly, material ledger separately. So FI and CO, I have just given you the example here. So whenever I pass any entry, either I pass it into the FI or I pass into the CO. Okay, and whenever I pass these entries, these are at the same time these are affected in my indices tables also. So I have some indices for GL, I have some indices for AP, I have some indices for AR. So tables, these are the indices. At the same time, it is also getting stored as the aggregates. So for new GL accounting, as I told, it is FAGL Flex T. Similar to that, if you are using profitability analysis, consolidation, special purpose ledger, they are also storing the data in the form of aggregates. So all these aggregates are getting stored in the form of tables. But going forward, when are no longer separate, it has become a common document. So even if you are passing any FI entry or CO entry, you cannot say this is separate. It is the same table which will be affected, and at the same time, uh, this is the combined document. Okay, and you don't need any indices, you don't need any aggregates. Why? Because this can be generated on the fly. On the fly means whenever it will be, it will get the data from this combined FICO document automatically. So you can understand that this much tables are updated when we are talking about the old system. And here you can see there are no tables at all, which will reduce the database size, which will increase the performance, which will make sure that the data is accessed faster as compared to the old system. Okay, so now as I told you that if you are already using some queries, if you have already generated some reports, some Z reports, what will be the impact on that? So this is exactly this table will, or this diagram will explain you what exactly will happen to my old customized reports. So I have written, let's say I have written this code to extract the data from these tables from COEP. Now, for example, COEP is not created as a table. So what will happen? So whenever I will generate this statement automatically take this data from the HANA database and the table called as universal journal entry. So from the user point of view, he don't need to worry about whether I am getting the data directly from COEP or the COEP is transferring the control to some view and view is transferring control to the universal journal entry. Rather than that, he will be only get the same information what he was getting in COEP directly. Clear? Okay, any questions till now? No
No, Gaurav, but
questions?
your voice is continuously breaking sometimes.
Now also it is breaking?
Yes,
Okay.
but not that bad, but it's breaking.
Okay, if you think that you are not able to like understand because there is so much of disturbance, again I will just reconnect. Otherwise, let me speak slowly so that if it breaks also, you should understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so let's go ahead. Now, I think this we have not discussed till now, and I don't know how many of you are record. So currently, if you want to create a GL, we have a separate transaction code for that and the separate screen which is used to create a GL. Similarly, if you want to create a cost element, again we have a separate transaction code, separate screen which is used in SAP. So both of this data are totally independent as of now, right? The master data for general ledger accounts and cost elements will be merged and they will become a unified master. Get a cost element, a secondary cost element, then too you have to use the transaction code FS00 and in the same way that that of any general ledger account. I'll tell you when we see the system, like what are the changes in the screens, but under separate master data for general ledger account and cost element, they all have been merged and there is a common master GL and cost element. Okay, so this chart of accounts covers balance sheet and all profit and loss accounts. That means no time dependency for cost elements any longer. So if you are creating a normally when you create a cost element, system asks for the from date and to date, but now it will no longer ask because the properties of GL account have been copied to cost elements. So in GL account, uh, available from and what will be the available to date. So it will take the same characteristics of the GL account. At the same time, no default account assignments in cost element master. So till now, if you wanted to assign, for example, default cost center to a particular cost element, you were able to do this in the master data of the cost element itself. Has been merged with GL account, you will not be able to provide any default account assignments into the master data which was used earlier also to assign the default account assignments to the. Can you recollect what was the T code which was used? Anybody from your side? Where do I maintain the default account assignments in my cost objects? Yes, OKB9. Okay, so OKB9 is a screen where I was earlier also I was assigning the default account assignments. Going forward, that is the only option available to me. So I don't have the option of assigning the default cost object in the cost element master data. Rather, there is only one option to use OKB9. Okay, so now normally I create the cost elements only for the profit and loss accounts and maybe for a balance sheet if I need, and that too as a statistical cost element. So profit and loss accounts can be classified as cost element. That means cost element becomes GL account with a specific cost element type remains. So today also, if you create any cost element using the same screen FS00, it will ask you the type of cost. Okay, and the default account assignments will be maintained in cost element master data. So when we'll see the screen, I think most of the doubts will be cleared, like how exactly this will be maintained. I'll show you in the SAP system directly. But for now, there is a single master data for GL and cost element. And why this change? Because GL or maybe financial accounting and controlling are no more separate modules. They have been merged together to form a single module. And this is the start that whatever masters we are maintaining separately for GL, financial accounting and controlling, they will be getting merged also. Okay, so this is the these are the different types of GL master. So you have, whenever you create a GL master or cost element, there is a field called as account type which was not available earlier. So when it directly asks for the account group, it doesn't ask for the account type, and you have to provide the account. So if it is a liability or asset account, it will fall into the balance sheet account. If it is the or cost account, which is for which you will select a primary cost element, will directly select the account. If there are some create the cost elements, because okay, I don't know what is the issue. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, just a minute. I'm not able to share my screen. Yeah, so are you able to see my screen now? Okay. So
Yes, we are.
yeah, so Neeraj, now voice is clear or again there is some disturbance?
No, quite clear. Thank you.
Okay. So do you want me to repeat what I said in my last slide, or you want to start again from this slide itself?
No, from this slide only.
Okay, okay. So yeah, so in the last slide what I said is you have the common master now for your general ledger account and the cost element. And to make this happen, what is done now is there is an additional column, additional field called as account types in my master data. So this account types will control whether it is my balance sheet account or it is my primary cost element, secondary cost element, or it is the expense or revenue account, which is not relevant to my normal operating transactions. So non-operating expenses and revenues. So when I say non-operating expenses and revenues, this means that uh, it is not my primary cost element, so I don't need to post any cost object into this type of accounts. But I say primary cost element, this means that this is the account which is the expense account, and for each and every transaction I need to provide the cost object. Similarly, secondary cost element, these are only used for adjustments, allocations, distributions as we were using till now. But only thing is you have to maintain this through the GL master screen again. Okay.
Could you please give an example for NPNS?
NP and S. Okay. Yes. So N is non-operating expense. For example, if you have some GL account in which uh, you don't want to post any cost center, profit center, nothing. So even today, if I have some GL accounts in which I am not posting any cost center, profit center postings, I don't want to touch my controlling part, I can just pass this entry into the expense account directly. Okay, but at the same time, if I want to post into particular cost center, profit center, then I need some controlling object. I need the cost element to be created first for this type of postings. So I create a primary cost element, and then whenever I'll post anything into it, system will ask me for the cost object. I'll provide the cost center, and it will get posted. So this is my primary cost element. And secondary
But
cost element, yes.
but Gaurav, with your document splitting,
Mm-hmm.
now each transaction has to have like your cost objects, because
Yeah,
like
see
maybe
it.
cost objects as profit centers are attached to cost objects and then segments are attached to profit centers.
Yeah,
So
in that
right,
case, you don't need non-operating expenses at all. You
exactly,
have
right.
to create every particular expense
GL
account as a
account,
primary
right.
cost element.
Fine, fine. Thank you.
Yeah. So secondary cost elements, I think most of you are aware that it is only used for
CO allocation,
the
right.
yes CO allocation postings. So it will remain as it is. Only thing is you have to create through FS00 now. Okay. So now, what will be the effects of reporting when we are talking about the unified master data? How my reports will change? So secondary cost elements appears in GL reporting. So even if you are doing any general ledger reporting, the secondary cost elements will appear there also, because they have the property of the cost elements and GL account is same now. So that is the reason it will be considered as a GL account and it will appear in your reports. And the system will automatically make sure that all these postings have the zero balance. So even if they are appearing, the balance will be zero. Just a minute. Yes. So in the past, postings to secondary cost element like profit center functional area were created real-time integration postings. Why? Because FI and CO was different modules. So we had some real-time reconciliation configuration that we need to do, based on which whenever we pass any entry in FI, it gets into CO automatically. So, but now this is not a case, because the entry will be passed only once. There is no need of reconciliation at all. It will automatically impact my FI and CO both. So the real-time integration mapped secondary to primary accounts. So whenever I was passing any, for example, the reconciliation between CO and FI. So whatever entries I was passing into my CO directly. At the same time, I needed it to be reconciled with my FI. So that is also not required now. So in the past, postings on secondary cost elements appeared in GL reporting on primary accounts. So now with SAP Simple Finance, posting to secondary cost elements appears directly into the secondary cost elements. This means because I don't need any reconciliation, so I will not post anything back to my FI with the help of primary postings. So whatever I am posting into my secondary cost elements, that will remain as it is in my secondary cost element. I don't need to pass any entry into my primary cost element for this. Okay, and because this change will bring some new accounts into my reporting, I have to adjust my profit and loss versions accordingly. So this is only applicable if you are using if you are migrating from classical or new GL accounting to simple finance. If you are going for the new implementation, in that case, anyways, you will need the profit and loss version to be created. I think there was one question, but I missed it. Can you just rewrite it again? How does the secondary determine its assessment or indirect? It will be same. So currently, see, in short, what we are doing is we have just changed the screen. The cost element properties, secondary cost element properties will remain as it is. So even though we are terming this cost element as the GL account, it will work as it was working earlier as the secondary cost element. So whatever allocations, distributions, whatever you wanted to do, they will remain as it is. There is no change into that. Okay. Only thing is, whenever you will perform any allocations, distributions, instead of hitting different tables, the data will directly come into the AC docket. Even though if it is only CO transactions, there is no FI involved in that transaction, still it will be affected in your AC docket table as a CO document. Any further questions?
Hi, Gaurav, this is Neeraj.
Yeah, Neeraj.
No, I couldn't understand. I would say when we carry out allocations in secondary cost element, so like earlier through reverse integration, equal entry used to pass in FI also to keep it reconciled.
Yes.
Right. So now in fact, what will happen? I couldn't understand this.
No, see,
Maybe when we get on the system, we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. At that time also you will be able to see. But let me explain this. What happens now is, so whenever you pass any allocation distribution entries into your controlling directly, in order to reconcile this with your financials, there is a reverse posting, right?
Reverse, right?
Why I need this reverse posting is because I want to reconcile my FI balances and CO balances.
Right.
Right, but now going forward, as I told you, FI and CO are no separate modules now. They are the common module. So whenever I am passing any secondary cost element posting into CO directly and my balance is matching, there is no need to pass any entry reversely to the primary cost element, because secondary cost element is also now part of my GL.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Okay. No, actually, if there's a primary cost element, say X, and a secondary cost element, say Y. So in Y, there is an allocation from Y to Z. So equally, an entry used to pass in accounting also, reconciling within the X account, right? Whenever there is a cost allocation or change in cost centers.
Okay.
So maybe I think once we get into the system, so
Yeah,
this will
see,
become clear.
See, the answer is, you are saying right. What you are saying is there is already some entries in X, and you are directly passing the entries from Y to Z in controlling, right?
Right.
Okay. So you want to make sure that X is also reconciled.
That's right. So we used to have COFI reverse integration.
Yes. Why it was needed is because whatever you are doing in CO, it is not known to FI separately, right? In order to make it understand, you are passing the reverse entry so that your FI and CO is reconciled. But when I'm saying, when I'm moving this cost from Y to Z, it is available in a single table. Everything is cleared. So if you see X, Y, Z, all these balances will be reconciled, right? If you see all these three balances together, X, Y, and Z,
Okay.
right? So there is no reverse posting needed for X. Because X,
Okay.
Y and Z are also accounts now. They are not more the only cost elements. They are also the accounts. So my financials will match. So in that case, let me answer your question. So you are saying,
Okay. I got your point. Fine. Now,
yeah,
secondary cost elements are also GL accounts. So
exactly. So in your
they are
financial
coming in your
statement
trial
version,
balance. Right.
yes, they will come in your balance, profit
Trial
and loss.
balance, right. So exactly, it will be a direct debit credit in the trial balance itself, like any other normal
Exactly.
GL account. And
Exactly.
that's why
So
reconciliation is not required. Okay, fine. Thanks. Got it. Got it.
that is exactly why we have written this last line here. So your profit and loss versions have to be updated accordingly. So the secondary cost elements or maybe secondary GL accounts will also appear in your profit and loss account.
By P&L, you would say FSVs, no? So FSVs
Yes,
have to be
FSCs.
updated. Right.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Right.
Okay. So let's understand like how this FI posting will be affected. So whenever I'm doing any FI document posting, it will go to my BSEC table by default because I have not touched my BSEC table. At the same time, the data or the line items will go to my AC docket table also. But now when I'm saying all my line items will be this AC docket tables will contain all the line items of different submodules, then why I'm saying that profit center accounting will be updated separately, special purpose ledger will be updated separately, consolidation will be updated separately. Again, cost-based COPA will be updated separately. Why this? The reason is AC docket till now supports only material ledger, account-based COPA, asset accounting, okay, and all these old uh, functionalities like classic profit center accounting, special purpose ledger, if you are using consolidation, the old module of consolidation and cost-based COPA, they are still untouched. Okay, so if you have activated these components, profit center accounting, special purpose ledgers, so there will be no change in the functionality what they are doing currently. The same functionality will be continued in the simple finance also. AC docket or maybe simple finance will not add any new functionalities to these components. So whenever I'm posting anything to profit center accounting, it will not get updated to AC docket. It will be the same tables which were used earlier, which will be that only will be updated. Okay, so you need to understand that these functionalities are untouched. Profit center accounting, special purpose ledger, and also SAP has suggested that please stop using these functionalities because in the new versions, in the latest versions of simple finance, it may happen that some of the functionalities which are very old may not be available, may not be supported in the future. So I think a special purpose ledger, they have specifically said that please stop using special purpose ledger. Instead of that, uh, go for the new GL functionalities, and because you will be able to get the benefits which are provided by SAP Simple Finance directly into the new GL functionalities. You will not be able to get these benefits in if you are using the special purpose ledger, the old special purpose ledger in your Simple Finance component. Similarly, cost-based COPA.
Gaurav,
Yes.
Neeraj here. Exactly, that's what I want to say. Now, in fact, these days, mostly people are using UGL. So that is like the profit center accounting. It already gets covered through your Flexa FlexT.
Yes.
So that's
So
why
see,
now people do not use these components, right?
yeah, that is the reason why SAP has
It,
untouched these components. But there are still some companies, there are still some old companies which
mm,
are working from last 10, 20 years, and I have seen the examples. They are still using classical GL accounting. So
right.
this is for that. So if you are if you are a consultant, you need to make sure wherever you are going, you need to understand the current situation. It is not always that you will directly say, okay, simple finance will implement like this. So you need to
Okay.
understand whether all of these components, any one of this component is active, and you need to make sure that you inform the client accordingly. Okay, we are here for SAP Simple Finance, but we are seeing in your system that you are still using classical profit center accounting. But going forward, this will be not supported by SAP Simple Finance. So you need to take a decision now whether you want to go for new GL functionality or you want to continue with the same. So that is the
Okay.
reason of adding this slide into this PPT, or maybe even if you go through the documents which are provided by SAP also, you will find this as a separate note that these particular components are still untouched, and some of the components, I'm not saying all, because costing based COPA will still continue to be used as it is, and maybe in the further versions which will come from SAP Simple Finance, there will be some improvement in costing based COPA also. But as of today, it is untouched. Untouched means whatever tables were used till now, they will be continuing to use the same tables. Okay, but
Thank
when
you.
we say there is some improvement in the COPA also, right? If you remember that we said that all the COPA relevant transactions will also get updated in AC.K, and there are some improvements in COPA. So what are these improvements? All these improvements are only available in account-based COPA. So whenever we are talking about this course, Simple Finance, and whenever we are talking about COPA, this is only applicable to account-based COPA because costing-based COPA is untouched. We are not here to understand anything related to costing-based COPA. But how account-based COPA has been improved, what are the configurations needed to set up this account-based COPA if it is not already activated, and how this data of account-based COPA will be stored in AC docket table. This is exactly what we are, or maybe this simple finance is helping. It is only helping the account-based.
Yeah, Gaurav, I have Well, I have one question. You said account-based COPA is only touched. It means going forward, company may go for only for account-based COPA in order to have a add-on function of simple finance, right? I mean to say, since I don't think so far costing-based COPA is very familiar and is more used. So since this is not added in simple finance, going forward, I think the client may go with account-based COPA.
See, my answer will be like in some of the some of the companies with some of the clients, they use this costing-based COPA very extensively. So they have the requirement they want to use the costing-based COPA, and it is actually the uh, very good module also. But at the same time, because this simple finance is currently in the current version, they have not provided any improvements in costing-based COPA. This doesn't mean that, as I told you, that's similar to classical profit center accounting, which this functionality will not be supported by SAP anymore. This is not the case with costing-based COPA. So costing-based COPA, if some client is using, they will still work. They can still continue to use it as it is, and maybe in the further versions, SAP may come up with new improvements in costing-based COPA also. But SAP in Simple Finance, the current version, what they are saying is, even though if you are using costing-based COPA and you are not using account-based COPA, go for account-based COPA also. So you can use both costing-based COPA and account-based COPA also. Why they are saying this is because account-based COPA has become a lot simpler now. The configuration, the reporting part have all been very simple in account-based COPA. So what SAP is suggesting is go for account-based COPA even if you are using costing-based COPA as a parallel option also. But they are not saying that costing-based COPA may be not supported in the future and stop doing that. So I think the answer will be the companies which are already using costing-based COPA, they will still continue to use costing-based COPA. But apart from that, if they are if we tell them the benefits of account-based COPA, they may go for account-based COPA also.
Yeah, after simple finance, I see accounting, the account-based COPA is also have more benefit because
Yes.
Yeah, new clients may go for account-based COPA, I feel.
Yes, yes, yes. There is a benefit of account-based COPA. So there is a chance that the more companies will go for account-based COPA now. But again, if there is a need for costing-based COPA also, they will also use that also in the parallel.
Yeah.
Hi Gaurav, Neeraj here.
Yeah, Neeraj.
Pardon me, in fact, I do not understand the difference between account-based COPA and cost-based COPA. But nevertheless, all those functionalities which are available, all those analysis which can be done through your cost-based COPA, can they be done in the account-based COPA as well? For example, segment analysis and then your market analysis, profitability analysis.
Yes. Okay. Let me explain this. So
So all
COPA
the
is
things
a
which we can do in your cost-based accounting, can same objectives be achieved by following the account-based approach also?
okay. Let me explain this. I think see COPA, as you told that it is the tool which is used for the analysis, market analysis, customer analysis, or maybe the product analysis, right? You want to have the profitability based on different segments. Now this profitability is a word which distinguishes when you talk about costing based COPA and account based COPA. So the only difference between the costing based and account based COPA is costing calculates the profit as the sales price minus the cost price. So whatever product you have sold minus the cost price is your profitability in costing based COPA. While in account based COPA, it is not how much at what price you sold. It is at the end of the month or at the end of the period, this is my total revenue and this is my total expense. Okay. So in account based COPA, I only talk about period based accounting. So in this period, in this particular period, I have made the revenue of this much and the expenses of this much. So this is my profitability. Costing based COPA says no. I am not, costing based COPA is mainly for the sales people. They say we are not bothered whatever you have earned is in this month or in this period. We are only bothered that our product we sold at this price and the cost, maybe this cost was incurred when we purchased this product 3 months back. So we are not concerned about whether this product is purchased 3 months back or 1 month back. It is only my sales price minus cost price is my profitability. So this is the difference between the costing based COPA and account based COPA. Costing based COPA considers only my sales price minus cost price, while account based COPA is the revenues of this month minus the expenses of this month. Neeraj, have I answered your question?
Yeah, maybe Gaurav, this is Raghu.
Yes, thank you very much.
I can further add up to their understanding. So in account-based COPA, you have all the postings as and when the account gets hit. But in cost-based COPA, account is not the primary primary thing on which you make your analysis, but rather there are something called as value fields. For example, when I do goods issue to the customer, in account-based COPA, I want to see the cost of sales. I have to see that the cost of sales account and the value in it. But in cost-based COPA, I can split this value and put it into many different value fields, like what is my overhead, what is my material cost, what is my labor cost, and all those things. Like these are some additional functionalities which are available in cost-based COPA. So and also like when I do a sales order, I can also bring the sales order price and sales order estimated cost into cost-based COPA, which is not possible in account-based, because account-based gets hit only when the account is updated, like when the account is posted. Likewise, if I have to calculate some notional values on sales, like what is my commission going to be on a salesperson, which I don't know at the time of transaction, but at the end of the month I know it. But even before I do that, I wanted to calculate an accrued amount, like 1% on my sales would be my sales commission. That can happen only in cost-based. So basically, even if you don't post in FI, I can calculate these figures in cost-based. But account-based COPA, only when it hits account, you can get it into account-based COPA. So there is a quite a additional functionalities in cost-based COPA which you will lose if you don't implement it.
Yes, exactly. So account-based COPA is always reconciled with your financial accounting. So if you are saying I have this much balance sheet or profit and loss in my financial accounting, the same has to be reflected in the account-based COPA. But in case of costing-based COPA, it is not the case, because it takes your values not only from accounts, it takes your values from sales orders, it takes your values from product costing. So there are different things from which the costing-based COPA can calculate the values. But again, as Raghu said, that costing-based COPA has different functionalities with this COPA. Now, why SAP has made the improvements in account-based COPA? How they have made? So the answer is very clear. The basic purpose or basic the base of simple finance is AC-DOC. So AC-DOC is updated as soon as you hit any account. So in case of COPA also, in case of account-based COPA also, whenever you pass any entry into your account, this account will be updated in AC-DOC table. So till now what was happening is there were different tables for hitting this accounting postings in case of account-based COPA. Now going forward, all this data which was available in different tables, that will be getting stored in AC-DOC. So you were doing the reporting for account-based COPA from all these different tables till now, but now going forward, you can take all these reports directly from a single table. And this is exactly why SAP Simple Finance has the improvement in account-based COPA. But when we talk about costing-based COPA, because there is no role of accounts there is no point making any improvement in terms of universal journal. Maybe in the subsequent versions, they may come up with the new improvements, but it will not be on the universal journal. There will be some new functionalities which they come up with. I think this discussion is too much of technical if you are not from COPA side. But again, you need to understand that costing-based COPA is untouched in Simple Finance. Account-based COPA has some improvements because you can post all your different account-based COPA transactions into a single table, AC-DOCA table, using which you don't need any reconciliation with financial accounting and the reporting will be simpler. Neeraj?
Thank you very much for throwing light on the functionalities of
Yeah, I don't know how
account.
much, yeah, because it is,
Yeah.
if you are new to COPA, I understand that this is not very simple, but we just need to understand. I think if you understand this much also, that account-based COPA is based on your accounts and costing-based COPA is based on the values that the salesperson is interested in. Right, salesperson is not interested whether you made this revenue now or expenses in the last month. He is only concerned with how much have I earned by calculating what was my sales price minus what was my cost price, right? But the financial person, he is interested more in what is my revenue in this month and what is my expenses in this month, right? So this is account-based COPA.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Okay. So yes, I was telling that profit center accounting, this is classical profit center accounting, special purpose ledger, consolidation, old consolidation, these are untouched. That is the reason why whenever you will pass any accounting document, if it is related to financial accounting, controlling, material ledger, asset accounting, COPA, it will directly updated in AC-DOCA, but there are still some functionalities, there are still some sub-modules within financial accounting which are untouched, and that is the reason why they will continue to post the documents into their old tables. Okay, so yes, how FI postings are made in Simple Finance. So AC-DOCA posted via the accounting interface, similar to FAGL Flexa in the past. So if you have any accounting interface from which you are, for example, if you have some different ERP or different technology that you are using in front end, and then you are posting these transactions to SAP in terms of interface. So it will be the same. It will be the AC-DOCA will be updated same in the similar way that it was updating till now. So former, whatever was stored in COEP, which is controlling, FAGL Flexa, which is your new GL accounting line items, ANEP line items for asset accounting, material ledger items, all this data will also get stored in AC-DOCA. BSEG will work as before Simple Finance, so there is no change as of BSEG is concerned. Profit center accounting, special purpose ledger, technically untouched, and they will work as before.
Gaurav, I have one question. See, when you talked about interface, okay, what about outbound? So the value it comes to SAP is fine. So outbound, going values from SAP to another interface, is there any changes in mapping the field? Or it is going to be same?
No, see, it depends on the interface. So whatever interface, even when I'm saying that in case of inbound also, I'm not saying that you don't need to make any changes. There may be some changes required in your interfaces also, because you are implementing new functionalities. There may be some new fields which will appear in AC-DOCA. So you need to make sure that the mapping has been set up properly in case of inbound also and outbound also. But the thing is, I'm just trying to say that whatever whatever interfaces you were using to bring the data to SAP system, or maybe taking the data from SAP into some other system, that interfaces you can use in the same way. Again, the configuration part, mapping part, they have to be checked, because whatever are the fields. So for example, if you are moving to Simple Finance, you are implementing some new ledger also, you are implementing some document splitting characteristics also. In that case, you need to make sure that the mapping has been set up properly with the old system. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was talking about that profit center accounting, special purpose ledger, they are still untouched and they will work as before. Components that have been built with FISL technologies, like these are industry specific technologies, joint venture accounting, public sector accounting, they are also untouched and they will also work as before. Costing based COPA, as I told you, this will again work as before. So you need to understand that this all these last 3 lines, they will remain as it is. They are untouched, and the reason behind this is, except costing based COPA, if you see this profit center accounting, special purpose ledger, consolidation, these are all old technologies, and SAP has already came up with the better functionalities, better modules to support this. So that is the reason why they have not touched this, rather they have touched directly to the new functionalities. Any question here? Okay, let me go ahead. Talking about the asset postings. So currently, I have this set of tables.
Sorry, Gaurav, one question in the last slide.
Yes.
So things which you say that they have not been developed till now, any specific reason not developed, or they are under process, or maybe going forward they would be developed?
What exactly?
For example, your FISL or ECCS, especially for your FISL. Now you
Okay.
say these things are untouched. So
Yes.
any specific reason why they are untouched? Or
Yeah, I told you. Yeah, it is because these are the old functionalities, and as you told that if the companies are already, they have already started using the new GL functionalities, they are not using special purpose ledger anymore. And anyways, like SAP has, as I told you, SAP has already told that in the next versions, this special purpose ledger, classical profit center accounting will not be supported. This means they are
no,
not supporting this.
I was typically referring to joint venture accounting, because one of my clients has joint venture accounting.
Yeah,
And
joint venture accounting, it is not the case, like it will not be supported. It may be supported because it is an industry specific solution and we need to have this. So in that case, they have untouched it, but I don't know if they have any plan to come up with some new functionalities in joint venture accounting also.
so you
But
would say it has not been touched because we are in the evolution stage right now.
yes,
But there is
yes,
no
yes,
other reason.
exactly. No,
There's no other reason
exactly.
why this is untouched.
Yes. So
And
see, there is a difference.
how
Yeah,
about
there
other
is a diff.
industry specific utilities, for example, like your IS utilities, etc.? They are also
Everything,
untouched.
everything. Yes, everything. All the industry specific solutions are untouched.
Okay.
Okay, so there is a difference between this line number 4th and line number 5th. So when I'm talking
Hmm.
about profit center accounting, special purpose ledger, the reason is different for untouching this. The reason is because they are already most of the companies have
Close to
migrated
retirement.
from.
Right.
Yes, yes. And on the
Hmm.
second components, as you told, that this is because these are SAP Simple Finance is in the phase of evaluation. So maybe in the later versions they may come up with the new functionalities into the industry specific solutions also.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so when we talk about this asset postings now, so we have this different tables which are updated when you post any acquisition transactions onto this table. So whatever information was updated in ANEK, ANEP, or whatever these tables are, it will now be stored in ACDoc directly, and even you don't need any separate header table for asset accounting. Whatever header information is relevant to the transaction, it will again get stored in BKPF. Okay, so actual data of ANEK, all these tables is now stored in ACDoc table. I'm not saying that all these tables will be removed. There will be some tables which will be as it is. Only thing is the data will be affected in ACDoc also, and you can do your reporting directly on ACDoc. ANEK is stored in BKPF. This means the header will be stored in BKPF, and there are some compatible views which will help you in uh, reporting. So if you can see the last non-actual items, just a minute, yeah. So statistical data. So whatever calculations you were doing for tax purpose, for that SAP has provided a table which will update all this tax calculation informations. Again, if you have some plant data for asset accounting, like plant depreciation postings, they will get stored in this table FAAT underscore plan underscore values. And the year dependent attributes of fixed assets are stored in YDDA. here specific dependent attributes like the cost objects or something, if you want to assign to the fixed assets, they will be stored in this table. I think there are a lot of changes when we talk about asset accounting. So when we come to the asset accounting, I'm going to explain you the entire configuration that will be required and even the migration approach, and finally what will be the we are going to see some of the transactions also, how the postings will be done and what is the difference in the way the postings are done now in asset accounting. This is just an example. Like if you are using if you are inserting some data into the table, so this is the code which was used earlier if you want to insert anything directly into COEP, and with Simple Finance 2 the code has been changed. So with Simple Finance, data previously stored in table COEP is now stored in table ACDOC for value types. So there is one column called as value type which will tell you whether this is my controlling transaction or this is my financial transaction or whatever it is. If customers have written program manipulating the data, so if you want to manipulate any data in COEP, if you're writing any insert statement, so earlier this code was used to insert and now this code will be used. Again, I'm not aware of what exactly this means because this is some technical thing, but just wanted to make sure that if you have any code written which is affecting your table in terms of insert, please show this to your technical consultant. I think he will get the better idea of it, what this means. Yeah, so up till now we have seen that this universal journal document or universal journal table stores the data of all different submodules, which modules are incorporated, which are not incorporated. Now coming to the thing called as prima nota. So when I'm saying that all my data will be updated in the single table. So for example, if I'm just to give you an example of asset accounting. So whenever I will pass any transaction in my asset accounting, let's say it generates two documents. One is related to asset accounting and another is related to general ledger accounting. This is just an example. Don't worry about this document. So if I want to reverse one document out of it, for example, I have done some asset accounting transaction. Okay, that line is also appearing in ACDOC. At the same time, my general ledger accounting document is also updated in that ACDOC table. Now, this general ledger document is posted only because of asset accounting document, right? So asset accounting document was my source document, and this general ledger accounting document is the second document which is referring to my asset accounting document. So in this case, if I directly go and try to reverse my general ledger document, it should give error, right? Are you clear? So if I have two documents, one document is my source document and another document which is referring to this document. If you are not comfortable with this example, let me give you another example. So if you are okay, so if you have generated a customer invoice and you had made the payment also, so there are two documents. One is invoice document and another is payment document. Now if you want to reverse the customer invoice, will you be able to do so? Can anybody explain? If I have my customer invoice which is posted and then I have created a payment also and now I want to reverse that invoice. Yes, so Bhoom has answered this. He's saying that system will not allow you to reverse because you have made the payment and you need to reverse the payment document first, right? So in that case, similar to this case, in my asset accounting also, whenever I'll post any transaction, system will generate one document in asset accounting and one document in general ledger accounting. So this general ledger accounting document, if I go and try to reverse, it will show me error. It will say, please reverse the source document first. And this source document in SAP is called as prima nota, right? So even for example, if you are, let's take another example now. If you are using materials management and you have created a Miro document, okay, and Miro document has created a posting in also and FI also. So now if you want to reverse the document, system will throw error. It will say first reverse the FI document. So in that case, FI is my prima nota. Right? Prima nota is a source document. I mean to say prima nota is a source document. So one document may bring some other documents with it. For example, if I'm posting one document, it may happen that apart from this document, there are some two more documents which are yes, okay. So if I'm posting one document, it may happen that because of this one document, there are two another documents which are also posted. So in that case, if I want to reverse these two documents, I have to reverse my prima nota first. So first document is my prima nota document. So prima nota is the source document that triggers the creation of journal entries. The prima nota is a single anchor that allows reverse the complete process. So you cannot reverse any document which is the result of the old document. You have to reverse that old document first and then only you can reverse the another documents. The prima nota keeps the information that has been entered to the system before derivation takes place in accounting in order to create journal entries. So prima nota creates before the derivation. This means if you have let's take a same example, the materials management. So whenever you are doing the Miro, at that time itself the one document will be generated which will be the prima nota, and then the whatever new GL functionalities have been activated, splitting has been activated, based on that there will be another document, right? So this prima nota is generated before all these settings are done, all these splits are done. In many cases, the prima nota is the document outside financials. So if you are uh, posting the expense reports, invoice, payroll documents, so payroll documents are triggered from HR. So whenever you post this document, HR document is your prima nota. So you cannot reverse financial accounting document because you have to reverse payroll document first. For postings within the financial world, a prima nota is needed as well. So if you are just doing one posting, which is generating only one document, so same document is your prima nota. For classic FI postings, so that is the reason why BSEG is still there in system. It stores your prima nota information. So for classical posting, the prima nota is still stored in table BSEG and the corresponding journal entries are written into table AC.K. I understand that this topic is not very easy to understand, but I'm sure that whenever we'll do some transactions, you will be able to understand what is prima nota and what is the purpose of it. But for now, just understand that it is the source document. So if one document has triggered the creation of three different documents, you cannot reverse these three documents till the time you are not reversing the prima nota. Clear? I have given the example for payroll. If you are posting some payroll document from payroll system, it triggers the creation of financial document, but you cannot reverse this financial document directly because this has been triggered from payroll. So you have to reverse the payroll document also. And payroll document here is my prima nota. Clear? Any doubt here?
Yes, understood, Gaurav.
Okay, I think when we'll see the system, it will be better understood. So for classical CO postings, so when I was saying repostings of cost and revenue, so my prima nota will be written in the table COEP. Similarly, whenever I'm doing any material ledger posting, so if I'm doing it from the material ledger component, so my prima nota will be updated in the material ledger table. So for allocations, no prima nota is required and data is returned to table AC.K only. The allocation process has its own history management, that is cancelling and allocation journal entries done in this way. So if you are doing any allocation postings, there is no prima nota needed because it is not affecting your the header table of COEP. That is the reason why the lines can be directly written into the AC.K. And similar to that, this is just an example, material price change. It can be Miro also. So whenever you are doing any transactions in different submodules like materials management, material ledger, the prima nota will be updated in the that component, and the line items will be posted in AC Docky. Don't worry about this. We'll see this when we'll talk about the SAP system. We'll work on the SAP system. Okay, I think from PPT side, that's it. Now let's start seeing the SAP screen. Have you got the SAP login?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I missed one question. Can you? May I know the difference between Simple Finance 1 and 0? These are just the versions in SAP Simple Finance. So these are actually add-ons. So now they are not calling SAP Simple Finance as 1.0 or 2.0. Now it has been renamed as SAP Simple Finance on-premise edition. So in the Simple Finance 1, there were some minor, or no, there were some major improvements in terms of Simple Finance, and then again after that there were some more improvements in SAP Simple Finance 2. But then they decided they will not continue to use 1.0, 2.0 all. They will call it as SAP Simple Finance on-premise edition. So as of today, everything is SAP Simple Finance on-premises edition. It is nothing called as 1.0 and 2.0 as of now.
Hi, Gaurav, this is Neeraj.
Yeah, Neeraj.
Why do we call it on-premise only? I'm sure I can have it on cloud also.
Yes, exactly. This is even the question in my mind also. So, but currently, whatever they are calling,
I can take my HANA to cloud, and I can install Simple Finance there.
Yeah. No, I think the reason behind this is all the functionalities are still not available on the cloud. I'm just guessing, because I am also not aware.
No, but this is as good as, simply migrating your database.
Yes.
I'd say first you convert it into HANA, and then maybe instead of on-premise, you transfer it to another system which you call it cloud.
Yes.
There
You
also
can
you can install, and normally you can start working.
Exactly. I
In
also
fact,
know.
one of my clients has put their HANA on cloud, and they are using Simple Finance there. They have activated Simple Finance.
Exactly. In my scenario also, the customer is using the system on cloud itself. So I don't know why they have given the name to the Simple Finance Earlier it was Simple Finance add-on 1.0, then came Simple Finance add-on 2.0. Then they stopped, and then now they are saying SAP Simple Finance add-on. Sorry, SAP Simple Finance on-premise edition 1503 something. I don't know what this means, but don't worry. I think everything is same. Don't go for the names.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me show you the screen. Let me share my screen first of all.
Gaurav, one more question. Sorry.
Yeah.
When you say prima nota, is it not the same as the source document that we have got? When you can actually go to the original document, so it should be the same as what is existing today. Is it any
Yes.
different?
No. There is no difference. Only thing is this prima nota will now be available in AC docket table as a separate field.
Field, is it? Okay.
Yes. So
Fine.
even whenever you want to do any reversal, or maybe whatever you want to track, which was my source document, that is now possible because in for each and every document, this prima nota field will be updated.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine.
So let me know once you can see my screen now, SAP screen. Are you able to see? Okay. So I
Yes.
have this. Okay. So I have two separate servers here. One is ECC and other is Simple Finance. So I think this is the same screen that most of you are using today. So let me show you. Okay. So first of all, let's see the table definitions. So when I'm saying about PSIS and PSIS here, see the name of table. So currently it is secondary index for GL account. Okay, so this is my EH7, you can see here. This is my EH7 and other is my SF something. Okay, so today it is created as a table with the name accounting secondary index for GL account. If you go to this side, it is generated table for view. So this means now this has been created as a view, a HANA compatibility view, which will not store any data directly in the table, but whatever fields, whatever selection criteria you will provide, it will take all this data from AC.A on the fly. Clear? Okay, so all of this BSIS, BSAS, if you can see, okay, you are not able to compare the, okay. Can you see this SFN? This is Simple Finance. Okay, so in Simple Finance, you can see this is a view. And if you go to EH7, here you can see EH7. This is my secondary index for GL account, which is created as a table. Okay, so same thing will happen for BSAS also. All my secondary tables, all my index tables, sorry. So this is for my cleared items. This is again the secondary index for GL accounts, which is only for my cleared items. Now, if you go here, this is again generated table for view. So although this exists in SAP, they will have some, you can extract some data from this, but these are not stored as a table and they don't hold any data at any point of time. The data is calculated only on the fly. Okay, similar to this BSIK, BSAK, BSID, BSAD, all these tables will be all these tables are created as the views. Now let me show you, if I write here AC.A, so AC.A does not exist. Here there is no table called as AC.A, but if you go to Simple Finance screen and write AC.A, you can see that this is a table which is called as Universal Journal Entry Line Items table. So this table contains all the information related to all different sub-modules in the financial accounting. So if you can see this, so company code fiscal year document, this is normally whatever was maintained in my basic table, which means my financial accounting. If you come down, you can see cost center, profit center, functional area, business area. So most of the information related to, let's say, controlling. Again, if you come down, total how many fields are in AC Dock A? I think I have answered this. This number of fields in AC Dock A depends upon the functionalities that you have configured. So for example, if you are not configured account-based COPA in your system, okay, and you have some 50 different characteristics for COPA, so you will not find these 50 fields in AC Dock A. But once you activate account-based COPA with 50 different fields, all these 50 different fields will come in AC Dock A table because they will be updated for each and every line item. So this will include your COPA also. This will include your uh, material ledger fields also. This will include your asset accounting fields also. So currently, I think we have seen there are around 360 fields available in AC Dock A, but again, it depends how much functionalities you have configured. Okay. Any
So
question
Gaurav,
related to AC Dock?
defining um, characteristics and number of characteristics, there is no change to that, right? It's the same transaction and 50 as the limit.
There are some changes. Like the characteristics up till now we were maintaining at the operating concern level, right? So if I have two different company codes and both are using two different let's say operating concerns, so I was creating these characteristics and I was assigning to this operating concerns. But now I don't think that is required because whatever characteristics are maintained at the client level, they will be available in AC Dock A. So there are some small changes. I'll not say there are some huge changes as far as account-based COPA is concerned. There are some small changes that we need to implement. Okay, so let me show you SPRO screen. What is the changes? What are the changes in SPRO? So you can see this SAP Simple Finance add-on for SAP's Business Suite powered by HANA. This is a component. This is a new configuration menu which is provided by SAP for configuring all different things for Simple Finance. So basically, this particular configuration menu helps us in preparing for migration, preparing and migrating the activities. So if you are using uh, your old system, old ERP system, maybe classical or new GL accounting, and when you want to move to SAP Simple Finance, this is the configuration menu which will help you in making sure that all your transactions, all your master data, everything has been brought to the new system. So if you are aware, if you have worked on classical to new GL accounting, there is a cockpit which you need to use to migrate to new GL functionalities. Similar to that, this is same as the cockpit, which consists of different steps which you need to perform when you want to migrate the data, all data, master data, transaction data, everything from your old ERP system to new SAP Simple Finance system. And we are going to understand each of this in detail when we talk about migration. So we are not going to skip any of this activity, including in preparation, in migration. We are going to perform all these activities to make sure that our migration process, how we need to configure the things in the migration process. Okay. Apart from this, we'll also understand what are the I like to configure one new company code in which we can see how the system is behaving differently in terms of comparing to my old system. Okay, so there are some changes in the different screens also. For example, if you can see financial accounting new here, let me go to the ledger. Okay, so if you can see this, define settings for general entry ledger. This was not available earlier. Let me compare this. Let me go back. Can you see the screens? Okay. So here what we were doing is we were defining the ledgers first of all. So if we have any requirement of a parallel ledger, we were defining here. Okay, so apart from this leading ledger, there were some non-leading ledgers which we have created here. Then in the second step, we were assigning the currencies to all these leading and non-leading ledgers. What are my parallel currencies? So in this step, I was assigning the currencies to my leading and non-leading ledgers. Okay, and then in the third screen, I was activating the non-leading ledgers. Okay, now all these steps, there is some change when you perform these steps in Simple Finance. So now I'm in the Simple Finance screen. So all the screens are not available. Rather, there is only one screen available, which is define settings for general entry ledger. So if you click on this, so all these three things have been merged into the single screen. So in first screen, you can see all these different ledgers are defined. But in Simple Finance, there is no scenario. Scenario, I need to check on this. Scenario, I think, are we using any scenarios right now? apart from this document splitting characteristics like for segmentation and profit center, are you using cost of sales accounting or maybe consolidation, the old consolidation tool as of now?
Yeah.
You are using?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But
So in that
in
case,
Simple
see,
Finance, I heard that there's no scenario has been, it has been
yeah,
removed.
yes. The reason is this separate screen, the configuration screen for this different scenarios are not needed anymore because anyways you are activating the scenarios from here and then you need to perform the configuration for activating these functionalities also. So for example, you are just giving the scenario as profit center, but till the time you are not configuring this profit center into the document splitting characteristics, you will not be able to see the difference. Similarly, if you are not activating the cost of sales accounting, even if you are defining it into the scenarios, you will not be able to use. So that is the reason why this particular uh, components like cost of sales accounting, profit center accounting, they are default defined as the scenarios, and then you need to just do the configuration as you were doing earlier. So you can activate the cost of sales accounting from here. Similarly, you can activate profit center accounting from the general ledger document splitting characteristics, and you can do the transactions. Yeah, I just wanted to show you this within ledgers. Yes. So similar to the earlier screen, you have a screen to define all your different ledgers. So if you have the requirement of creation of new ledger, you will create it here, and then assigning these ledgers to your company codes or maybe defining the currencies for leading and non-leading ledgers, this is a screen. So here you define the currencies for your leading and non-leading ledgers. Okay. Also, there is a separate activity to assign this ledger to your accounting principal also. So this was not mandatory earlier, but now going forward, if you are using new asset accounting, assignment of accounting principle to the ledger is mandatory. So whatever accounting principles you are following, if you are following IFRS, you have to create accounting principle IFRS, and then you need to assign this accounting principles to the ledger, whichever you configured for IFRS to the accounting principle. Okay.
Hi, this is Neeraj.
Yeah, Neeraj.
So you could say more than one accounting principle can be assigned to a general ledger?
Sorry, not a one?
Can more than one accounting principle be assigned to a general ledger?
Yeah, you can. If you have only requirement of one accounting principle, you can assign.
No, I said more than one. For example, US GAAP and IFRS.
So you
what
are
we
you
used to do, we
creating
used to create parallel ledgers, right? So
yes,
because
if you
it's one-to-one mapping. One
Okay.
ledger can accommodate one accounting principle.
Okay. Yeah,
Right?
in that
So
case, you will create two separate ledgers, two accounting principles, and you will maintain one-to-one relation. So zero val will be, for example, will be for your US GAAP, and you have created IFRS a ledger which will be assigned to your IFRS.
okay, fine. And the concept still remains the same, that whatever posting goes to your leading ledger, that will flow to all your non-leading ledgers as well.
Yes.
The
There
principle
are
remains the
some,
same.
yes, there are some minor changes to it. There are some exceptions to it. For example, in new asset accounting, I'll explain you when we come to the new asset accounting.
Sure.
Okay. So if we have time, just let me configure one company code in the new system. Whatever I'm doing in the new system now. Okay, just to make you understand that what are the changes and what screens are same. So the creation of master data, company code data, there is no change as such. You can just follow what you are doing till now. So I'm just creating a new entry here. Let's say test 1 2. Let's say T002. This is my test company. City, whatever you want to maintain. So this is exactly same. There is no change here. Okay. So I have just created a company. Let me assign some global parameters to it. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, quite clear.
Yeah, I think this connection to the server lost. It is trying to reconnect. Yeah, I'm back. So I'm assigning the global parameters to my company code. So I'll create a chart of account separately. Let me assign the fiscal year variant. Let me assign the field status and posting period variant. Okay, I'm not changing anything else. Now let me configure chart of accounts. Again, the settings for chart of account is same. Oh, it is locked. I think there are some issues in the connection to the server. Again, it got disconnected. Okay, any questions till the time the server gets connected? Yeah, I think we are back. Let me try now. Yes, so I'm just creating a new entry here. So again, this screen, if you can see, there is no change. Sorry, can you retype your question? Can you just retype your question, bro? Just make sure I understood correctly. During preparation phase, we make sure reconcile balance sheet. Yes. So at the time of preparation, like as I told you, when you migrate from classical or New GL accounting to simple finance, there is a step. There are some steps that you need to provide in sequence. So you have the step of preparation first of all, in which you prepare your data that is to be migrated, and you need to make sure that all the reconciliation exercise has been performed. This means it should not happen that your asset is not matching, fixed assets are not matching with your uh, general ledger accounting. So you need to make sure that all the reconciliation exercise has been done and everything has been reconciled, and then only you go for installation of SAP Simple Finance, and then the rest of the steps has to be followed. So again, no changes. I've created all the chart of account. There is no changes at all. Now let me create the tolerance. Okay, let me create the number. There is lot once in the server access. Normally it doesn't happen like that.
Hi, Gaurav, Neeraj.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
Gaurav, all
Neeraj.
those steps which are required to carry out migration, for example, preparatory work of reconciliation, etc., will be taken care when we go into the migration stage. So you'll be explaining us all this in detail, right?
Yes, see, I'll be explaining you all the details, but only thing is we will not be able to complete this migration in this server because the migration is already performed, and you cannot perform this migration steps again and again. So I'm going to explain you each and everything, but only thing is I'm not going to show you everything on the server. Whatever is possible, I'm going to show you on the server. But
Fine.
what are the steps, what are the transaction codes that will be used, that I'm going to explain you in detail.
Fine.
Okay. So now, are you able to see my screen, SAP screen? Yes. So now if you can see account type, this field was not available earlier, right? This is a new field. As I told you in my slides also that there will be new field which will take care whether this is my primary cost element, secondary cost element, non-operating expenses or incomes, or it is my balance sheet account. Right. So if I'm selecting balance sheet account, and you can see there is no edit cost element here. So the cost element and GL account have been merged to the single screen. So I'm creating a balance sheet account with account group asset. Let's say this is my cash account. I'm just providing the minimal of data so that we can do the transactions. So here I think I don't need to provide anything. Here I'll just provide G00. I think this is okay. Control data, I'll just provide the sort key. So I created a cash account and I want to create an expense account also. So yes, new. So if you can see again, I have to select here primary cost. Here I have to select expenses, same thing. For example, travel expense. Now there is, if you can see, there is no line item management here. The reason is because all the line items are getting managed into AC docket, so everything will be line item managed. So earlier there was a restriction that if you have line item management selected, then only you can see the reports in BSIS, the open items line item management. So now it is not the case. You will be able to see for all the accounts the lines which are available in AC docket. Okay, so I have created two GL accounts. Now let's create one document. The document number ranges to be maintained. Let me maintain that also. And I have not configured any parallel ledger here. Maybe in the subsequent sessions we'll try some creating some different company with the parallel ledger, or maybe let's do it now itself because we'll need that. So let me go to SPRO screen again to create some ledgers. So financial accounting, the same screen that I shown to you. Define settings for general entry ledger. Here I'll configure this company code 0L. For my company code, I'll just make sure that my ledger is configured correctly with correct accounting principle also. T002. So I'm not configuring any parallel currency here. I'm just configuring the accounting principle. So let's say this is my leading ledger is for local GAAP. Okay, and I'm configuring another ledger for my company code. For example, if let me see if I have IF or something. Yes, IFRS is available. So I'm just clicking on this, going to company code setting. I want my company code to be here. So I'll enter my company code here, T001, and it will pick the values from my leading ledger. Okay, I'll save this and I'll assign this.
002.
Yeah,
Company
sorry.
code is T002, right?
Yes, you are right. Just a minute. Yes, this is wrong. I need to create as T002. Let me delete this, or maybe let it be there. New entry T002. Yes. Thanks for reminding me. Otherwise, it should have not been worked. Okay, so it is taking only the single currency which we have defined. I'll explain you what this is parallel accounting when we come to this topic, but for now, let's save this, assign this to accounting principle, and this time I want accounting principle is IFRS. So I think, Neeraj, you were asking the question. Seeing this, I think your doubt has been cleared, right?
Yes, I got my answer. It's 1-to-1 mapping.
Okay, okay. It can be one-to-many also. For example, if you are following accounting principle, a single accounting principle.
So did you mean to say in ledger IF, I can assign other accounting principles also?
Yes, if the requirement is same, you can assign.
So that's the meaning of the parallel ledger accounting which you were showing in the previous screen?
No, this is also parallel ledger. This is also parallel accounting. So I have two different accounting principles. One is IFRS, one is local GAAP. But again, I am assigning one-to-one relationship with the ledgers.
Right. So can I assign more than one accounting principle here? Because I can see space. Can I assign US GAAP also to this ledger IF?
Yes, you can assign.
Then what's the reason of maintaining one-to-one relationship?
See, no, we are not maintaining one-to-one. It can be one-to-many also. Only thing is, if my requirement is separate, for example, my IFRS requirement and my US GAAP requirement is totally same. So why should I create two different ledgers? I can assign a single ledger to two different accounting principles. But my requirement.
No, just a minute. There are some differences between US GAAP and IFRS.
No, I'm just giving you example.
Right. My question was that if we have already created ledger 0L, so there if I can assign IFRS and US GAAP both, so why should I go for another ledger IF?
No, I think this is just for information. This will not work as IFRS. This is just for information that my ledger IF is following the accounting principle IFRS.
No, I think you didn't get the point. The point I was trying to make.
Yeah. Right. Let me explain. So you are saying you have the requirement of US GAAP and IFRS, right?
Right.
So in that case, if I create a 0L ledger, okay, and I assign both accounting principle to 0L.
That's right, exactly.
Right. So in that case, what will happen is whatever postings you will make, it will go to 0L only. And there is only one ledger, 0L. You are not maintaining a separate ledger for IFRS, right?
Okay.
So this mapping of ledger with accounting principle, this is only for reporting or only for like you are maintaining that, okay, IF is for IFRS. It has nothing to do with the transactions. Transactions will post it only in 0L. So what will happen is you will not be able to track what is IFRS and what is US GAAP. Okay. If you want separate reporting, you have to create two separate ledgers.
Okay. So this
is just for the information. No. No, if you are creating multiple accounting principles here, this is not parallel ledger. Parallel ledger is when you create more ledgers.
That's right. We created two ledgers right now, 0L and IF, right?
So currently we are using parallel ledger, yes.
Okay.
Currently we have created two ledgers. That is the reason I am saying that we are using parallel ledger concept here. But if we have created only one ledger and we have assigned two different accounting principles, this is not the example of parallel ledger then. This is only one ledger. We are assigning to two different accounting principles, and this assignment of two accounting principles, it is just for the information purpose. This will not serve your purpose of parallel accounting.
Then what's the fun of assigning two accounting principles to one ledger?
Just for information purpose.
Okay.
This is just for information purpose. So you are saying, okay, ledger IF is for my IFRS reporting. Only that much. You got the point?
Okay, fine.
I am not maintaining any settings at this accounting principles level. It is just the text.
Okay.
Okay. Whatever settings I am maintaining at the ledger level. So don't get confused with this accounting principle. This is just for the information purpose. You just need to make sure that whatever ledgers you are creating, you have to assign it to the accounting principle, and this accounting principle is just like the text.
No, but I think you didn't get the point. The consulting question which will come is like, if we can assign two accounting principles to one ledger, then why should we have two ledgers? And say within in this ledger 0L, I could have had IFRS and US GAAP both.
See,
And
let me.
of course, I would say if you want two ledgers to depict two accounting principles, that is one for US GAAP and one for IFRS, then what is the fun of, I've said, then why this provision has been given that in one GL account, you can provide more than one accounting principle.
Okay, let me tell you, let me give you an example. So if you have a parallel reporting requirement in which there is a requirement of two different accounting principles, and let's say both of them have this common requirement, they both need same reporting. So the depreciation calculation is also same, the accounting standards are also same. In that case, you can assign a single ledger to multiple accounting principle. But if the requirement is different, okay, the requirement cannot be made by defining the accounting principle. The requirement has to be configured based on the ledger level. You cannot configure anything at the accounting principle level.
Okay, Gaurav, I think I got your point. See, accounting principles are nevertheless the same. They are never same. And say US GAAP, IFRS, Indian GAAP, it will never
No,
be the
I
case.
see. Yeah, I have just given you the example. For example, if you have the common requirement for two different accounting principles, in that case only you can assign two different accounting principles to the common ledger. But if the requirement is different, the valuation has to be done separately for two different accounting principles. In that case, you need to create two different ledgers and you need to have one-to-one mapping with the accounting principle.
Yeah, maybe Gaurav can give a better explanation. So you have SAP provides you to report parallel accounting in two different ways. One is your multiple ledger approach. The other traditional approach before we had this multiple ledger is accounts approach. I use a separate set of accounts for my, for example, IFRS reporting or US GAAP reporting to post specific transactions values and exclude them from reporting into the other gap. Okay, so in that case, if I have, for example,
Exactly.
I use only one
got
ledger.
the point. This is
Right, and at the time of, for example, some Forex revaluation posting or something, I'll select the accounting principle and run that program so that the posting happens only to the accounts linked to that accounting principle. So I have a different methodology for each of the accounting principle, but both the runs actually sit in the same ledger.
great. Thanks, Raghu. I think the reason for this is, like, in order to carry out compliances, say IFRS compliance, there are two approaches: account-based and parallel ledger-based. So this may be to accommodate the account-based approach, where you have
Yes,
specific
exactly,
accounts to carry out
because
the
I think,
adjustments.
yeah,
Right.
Raghu has given the proper example. I don't know how
Right.
I forgot this example. Yes, this is exactly the same what Raghu has said. So if you are following account-based approach, in that case, you are not creating parallel ledgers. You are doing all your reporting based on only a simple single ledger in which you are maintaining different accounts for different purpose, right?
Thank
So
you.
you are
That really
creating.
solves. Right.
Yes. Thanks, Raghu. Okay, so yes, I'm going back. So here I'm following the parallel ledger approach. So that is the reason why I created two different ledgers with two different accounting principles. Let me go back. Yes, this is done. Now I need to assign the document types also here. For non-leading ledger. So I'm just creating document type SA with number in, let's say, 98, for example. Okay. Now number range. Let me copy this from 0001. Okay, number range is also done. Now let me pass one entry. Server is getting disconnected again and again. Guys, this server is getting disconnected again and again. Is it okay if we continue from here tomorrow? I think it is back again. Let me try. If we are able to complete this, we'll do this. So I have not activated controlling till now. I don't know what is the setting maintained in this server. If it will ask, then we have to configure that also. Tolerance range. Have we configured this?
So Raghu, you may assign, I'm sorry, Gaurav, you can assign any controlling area to this company. You can assign this company to any controlling area.
But again, I don't know what is the settings maintained. So it should not happen that we stuck in solving that controlling area settings errors.
I see. No, but we won't be able to see the flow of document transfer from FI to CO.
No, that. Yeah, that again I can show you in the SAP. Okay, if you want, we can configure that controlling also here.
Right, let's do it.
Yeah. Again, I think the server has been disconnected. Is it okay if we try it from tomorrow?
Sure, we'll try tomorrow then.
It will be the better option because I think there is some problem with the server.
Okay.
Okay, guys, so we'll meet tomorrow, same time.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Kama.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
ನೋಡು ಪುಟ್ಟ ನೀವು ಬಾಗ್ಲಾಕೊಂಡು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಾಗ್ಲಾಕೊಳ್ತೆ ಡೇಂಜರ್ ನೋ ನಾಟ್ ಟುಡೇ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್
ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಲಾಕ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ನ
ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್
I was sitting in study table and I was jumping on study table ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಅನ್ಕೋ ನಾನು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ
ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್
ಅಮ್ಮ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ
how come you are going to English medium school no you cannot tell that
how come
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಅದು ನೀನು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಂ ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀಯಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ರೂ ಬರಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನಕ್ how come it's not possible go and brush Nidhi how come you don't know
I know you are going I know the movie
you have done the brush you did the brushing
no
she did
no, I was opening the key
okay keep it back that key yeah I'll keep you brush where is your brush give me box I'll go
and then this is still table I was going I was sitting on study table.
I was climbing.
I was climbing study table. No, that time the door was open. No, but then when I was climbing on study table, that locked. Then when I was opening it, Nidhi called me. I gone. Then I forgot to open. Then morning, anybody, Amma, you know, you want to put the door, no?
Avani, what I'm telling different. No, okay, that is fine. I got it. Suppose many times you will close the door. Okay, you will close the door. You will close the door. You'll be inside alone.
No.
Then who will open for you?
Amma, she will close the door.
That door is become very tight
Many
now.
times.
Don't do that, Avani.
Amma,
Come here. Why are you crying?